Hello, welcome to my channel. We are discussing the Ephesians chapter 5 man. Today we are going over Ephesians chapter 5 man, nurturing and protecting. Pain on Purpose presents Nurturing and Protecting. Let's us dig deeper. Ephesians chapter 5 highlights the role of husbands as providers, both emotionally and physically, and provides guidance on creating a nurturing and safe environment for families. Here are key chapters and verses from Ephesians that emphasize nurturing and protecting. Ephesians chapter 5 verses 25 to 29. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. These verses highlight the nurturing aspect of a husband's role. Husbands are called to love their wives sacrificially, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. This sacrificial love involves providing emotional support, care, and nourishment to their wives, nurturing their well-being and growth. Ephesians chapter 5 verses 28 to 29. In the same way husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. These verses further emphasize the responsibility of husbands to provide for their wives, both emotionally and physically. By loving their wives as their own bodies, husbands are called to provide a nurturing and safe environment where their wives can flourish. This includes meeting their emotional needs, providing a sense of security, and caring for their overall well-being. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. While this verse specifically addresses fathers, it encompasses the broader responsibility of men to nurture and protect their children. Men are called to provide a loving and disciplined environment for their children's growth and development. This involves instilling values, teaching them about God's ways, and protecting them from harm. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 11. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. This verse encourages men to protect their families by avoiding and exposing harmful influences. It reminds them to be vigilant and discerning, safeguarding their loved ones from the negative influences of the world. This can involve setting boundaries, being aware of potential dangers, and guiding their families towards righteousness. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 11 to 12. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. These verses highlight the spiritual aspect of nurturing and protecting. Men are called to equip themselves and their families with the armor of God to stand against the schemes of the devil. This involves leading their families in spiritual growth, protecting them from spiritual attacks, and guiding them in their faith journey. The book of Ephesians emphasizes the responsibility of men to nurture and protect their loved ones. Through verses addressing husbands and fathers, Ephesians highlights the importance of sacrificial love, emotional and physical provision, and creating a nurturing and safe environment for families. Men are called to love their wives sacrificially, provide for their families' needs, and guide their children's growth. Additionally, they are encouraged to protect their families from harm, both physically and spiritually. By embracing these responsibilities, men can create a nurturing and safe environment where their loved ones can thrive and flourish. Many of these verses are continually repeated. It shows the importance of how a man's role is crucial as a Christian man led by God. This is the foundation of nurturing and protecting a family by a man. There are many more scriptures throughout the Bible explaining this as well. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching.